What is going on, everybody? I'm back here with another Marvel Heroes 2016. I don't know when it's going to turn into 2017, but hopefully soon, because they usually do some cool stuff for it, but that's besides the point. The point is, I'm back here with another video, and I'm not going to be doing my normal story stuff with Nova. Today, I wanted to talk about Logan, the new movie that just came out that I'm sure you have seen something about, and I figured what better way to do it than as me playing as Logan, old man Logan, in Marvel Heroes 2016. Granted, this is from the comic books, so he is wearing his nice little trench coat, and he's rocking the full white hair, and his beard is not as epic as the one we see in Logan. I'm going to go ahead and try to keep this as spoiler-free as possible, but I'm going to say if you haven't seen it yet, you immediately need to see it if you are able to watch R-rated movies, and that is a very, very, very big thing. If you guys are not 17 or not allowed to watch R-rated movies, do not watch this movie. I'm not saying that because it's a bad movie. I'm saying it because there are so many things that happen that are so not okay for kids to watch. It is graphic. There's a lot of cussing, which obviously I'm fine with. Obviously I can watch people. I'm 20 years old. I can watch this stuff. But if you are not able to watch R-rated movies, definitely do not watch this. It is very graphic, and that's just kind of the one little thing I wanted to say before I got this started. I also want to grab something real quick that might help when I'm talking. So I'm not going to show it yet, but I do have it, so I'll keep that on the back burner. Let's go ahead and do some stuff in this game so it's not just me sitting here and talking to you guys, which I'm sure you're all super thrilled to see. Actually, let me go and do like a special mission, I suppose is what you would call it. Anyways, Logan, let me just go ahead and start off by saying this is the best Wolverine movie we have seen yet. And it's not one of those things where it's like, oh, it's just fresher in your mind. No, guys, like, trust me, this movie is epic. It is everything you want to see
I'm a monster
in a
still.
Wolverine movie. Like,
You of all people should
it's
not
just,
see me like this.
I'm trying to even think. I was trying to also find my missions. There we go. Okay, what should I do? Terminals. Okay, I will do the Mr. Sinister one. It fits in with my mutant theme. Anyways, it is the best Wolverine movie by far, no comparison. I mean, it's everything you want Wolverine to be. He kills, he has awesome one-liners, you get to see what he does, he has a little bit of Berserker there. It's not like the old, oh man, they updated this, by the way, it's just my thing, but, it is Hugh Jackman's best performance as Wolverine, too. Trust me, it is epic. Like, you're watching this and you're going, why are we not going to be able to see Wolverine again? Because he is everything you want Wolverine to be. But yeah, so of course, it's super sad to see him go, just because not only has he played the role for so long, he plays it so well. You believe he's Wolverine because he's just so into the role. I mean, obviously, you don't actually believe that this guy can pop claws out of his arms. Like, it's a little of a stretch. But what I'm trying to say is, you believe that he's believable, is what I'm trying to say. I don't really know how else to say it, but I won't go ahead and keep on saying it's believable, because it's pretty repetitive, and I'm sure you guys just don't want to hear me say that over and over again. Pretty sure my character specs got reset with a newer update. Yeah, it looks like they did. So I'm gonna go ahead and not worry about this right now. I am plenty leveled enough to take care of these guys. I'll do that at another time, which I do want to continue recording the series, but I don't really have any other Marvel games on hand. I have Marvel Ultimate Alliance, but nothing. Anyways, back to Logan. This is not a review, by the way, so don't expect me to, like, give it a score or rate it with other Marvel movies, but if I did have to, like, put a label on it, I would say it's up there in my top 5 movies of all time. Among them are obviously the original Avengers, the original X-Men, which, by the way, when you finish watching this movie, I don't know about you, but for me, I absolutely wanted to just go back and watch that original X-Men just to see Wolverine in his initial role over 16 years ago. That's insane. Like, I don't know. I just think it would be really cool to watch that. I'm actually might watch it after this video. I'm still debating. But the point is it's a great ending to the character. He sends it off very faithfully, something that I'm sure he's wanted to do for a while, because Wolverine being PG-13, it just doesn't work, because he is a very violent character. That's his thing. Like, I don't know if you've heard his tagline, but he says, "I'm the best at what I do. What I do isn't very nice," and by that, he means he kills people. So, obviously, you know, it's gonna be a violent movie, and this one was. It did not hold back on its violence. X-23 is awesome in this movie. You believe that, I'm trying not to spoil any plot, but she seems awesome. She seems like a logical progression on who would take over as Wolverine. Wolverine actually dies in the comics, and X-23 has to take over. And with this movie, I feel like they might set her up to be in future movies, because if you did not know, this is Hugh Jackman's last time as Wolverine. He thinks that they're going to recast the role, which is sad to see, because it is his role. Like, let's be honest, he is Wolverine at this point. But they are probably going to recast it. They don't want to lose out on money. He's such a huge character. There is still a lot we haven't seen from him, and unfortunately we've seen too much bad stuff of him. So I do believe that they are going to reboot the character as a new actor, which is, like I said, sad, but it's going to happen. I'm calling it now. If they don't go that route, which I would be very surprised, I'd assume that they'll go with X-23 as the new Wolverine.
New specimens for my studies.
Oh man, what was I gonna say? Oh right, so there is kind of, while you're watching the movie, it's kind of hard to tell which timeline this actually takes place in, because there are references to the previous Wolverine movies. I won't spoil them, but there are some references, and so you might, like, say to yourself, well, what, like, is this the original timeline that we started with X-Men, or is this the new one that was established with Days of Futures Past? And to that, I'm gonna say, I don't know. I think this is another off-branching universe, but it's the one that started with the original X-Men back in 2000, I believe, is when that first came out. I think this is a continuation of that, but it's like, well, but what if they didn't go back in time and change it? Because, I mean, obviously there's a huge change in tone between the two. I hope this isn't a spoiler to you guys, but there are no Sentinels in this movie, and there isn't a subjugated mutant race, so that obviously does not coincide. So I do believe this is kind of a mixture of the two previously seen universes, where the Sentinels weren't created, but the X-Men Origins Wolverine and the Wolverine both happened. So, again, it's kind of iffy on where you want to place that in the timeline, because obviously at the end of Days of Futures Past, we see Westchester is all perfect, and it could very well take place after that one, considering that maybe Wolverine actually did go through all of that stuff again. Again, I don't want to reference anything. This one's kind of a minor one, though. You see his katana hanging up on the wall. The katana that we see in the Wolverine, it's kind of a main plot point in that movie. But anyways, we see that, and it's kind of like, oh, well, so that means that it's in the original universe, right? And it's kind of like, yeah, but these other things make me believe that it isn't, because there are no Sentinels. And yeah, so I don't think that the universe is a very big deal to this movie, and the director even said it himself. He's just kind of like, we're telling the story that needs to be told, and I'm totally okay with that. If this is just another universe, awesome. If you did not know, the Old Man Logan comic that I have with me here, that's what I grabbed, takes place in an alternate universe. One that is not related to any universe that we have seen, where the heroes basically all die. So yeah, in this comic, we see a completely different version of Wolverine, one that is a pacifist. And so, obviously, this isn't our main timeline, because our main timeline has been explored multiple times, and even Old Man Logan is in the universe now, even though technically Wolverine died. So I don't know, there's some complications here, guys. It gets pretty confusing, but basically I think that we should treat this as a completely standalone film. Don't try to place it in with a universe, at least right now, until they officially announce one. Just watch it for what it is. It is a Wolverine movie about one of Wolverine's stories, that being Old Man Logan. And no, it is not completely faithful to that comic book storyline. There are elements that cross over, but it is not directly lifted from the comics, which I think is a good thing, because obviously you can't do the comic in the movie. It's just impossible. There's no Avengers, there's no Red Skull, blah blah blah. It can't be done right now. But it does have a lot of the same tones. It's about a man who has given up hope and basically quits and tries to live out his life without ever having to think about being a superhero again. It's a very sad story, but it is one that needs to be told for Wolverine, because it kind of ties up his character. Again, not trying to spoil anything, but you really do feel like at the end of the movie, like, okay, you know, that was Wolverine. You feel satisfied. I did not walk out of that movie feeling like, oh man, I wish they would have done this. It was a movie where I honestly felt like it was solid. You know, there's not a lot of movies that are solid anymore, as far as superhero movies. A lot of people really disliked, Batman v Superman. They're like, it wasn't complete. There was a lot of weird elements that kind of took you out. I did not, like, that time flew by for me. It was an absolute treat. It was well worth the ticket price, of whatever it was. I can't even remember how much I paid for my ticket. It was probably too expensive, if we're being honest, but for a ticket, not for the movie. The movie was awesome. I will be pre-ordering this, and I will own it on DVD forever and ever. I will probably watch it hundreds of times. I am one of the few people that actually likes most superhero movies that come out. I'm weird like that. I know a lot of people aren't like that, but I honestly do. I enjoyed movies like the Wolverine for what they were. They were just a Wolverine movie. We didn't get to see all that we wanted, but we got to see Wolverine on screen, and that was good enough for me. After seeing this movie, I don't know if I can continue to say that, because it really takes it to a whole new level for me. You have the characters and the plot and just the look of the movie. It looks awesome, but I think, to me at least, this is what superhero movies, at least for Fox, are going to be held up to, solo movies. The Avengers kind of set the tone for what, I don't know what to call them, like, culmination movies were. because you had all those characters, all those different plot lines, and it fit perfectly. That kind of set the tone for group movies. This sets the tone for solo movies. You know, you get everything that you want for the character while also tying up a 16-year run on a character. It seems impossible to do, but somehow they do it, and with a lot of... you could tell they cared about making this movie. It wasn't a movie that was just trying to grab some cash for Hugh Jackman as his last role. They aren't trying to bank on that. They actually cared about what they were doing with the character, something that I think that Fox kind of has been missing out in recent years with movies like Fantastic that completely, they tried to go a new direction and it fell flat. There's some debate on whether or not there was some studio involvement, but the point is Fox is not on the same level as Marvel, but this is a really good step forward, I would say, in order to kind of getting on their level. It was just all around fun adventure movie that I would like to see again, to be completely honest. I'd love to see that movie again just to kind of catch all the stuff that I might have missed, because there is a lot of kind of there is a lot of stuff that you might miss on the first viewing because it is so jam-packed with action. I think it's like a 2-hour movie. I remember like looking at my clock and being like,
Archangel now.
It was late. But yeah, so you might kind of lose yourself,
Magneto is a fool,
which I think is
and
awesome.
we are foolish
So,
for keeping him here.
Can I do this? Oh, I can do different difficulties. Huh. Okay, well, I'm going to start speccing my character while I'm talking. So, yeah, like I was saying, Wolverine just absolutely takes the cake for me right now as far as my favorite X-Men movie. And that's not just me saying that because it's the newest. I do think this movie will stand the test of time. I truly believe that. Like, this movie was... I don't know if it's a game changer in the fact that I think that movies will learn from it. I don't think that it's going to win an Oscar, even though it might, like, it probably should, because obviously those movies, if you're a superhero fan, you're not going to watch them. But, I mean, what I'm trying to say is it's not going to win any Oscars. I know that. But I do think that it will, you know, people will be talking about this for a while. They will start saying, man, I wish X-Men Apocalypse was more like Logan. Or I wish Thor 3 was more like Logan. Like, people will start saying that, I think.
This was meant to
because it was just so different. It really changed pace. It wasn't afraid to show a little down and dirty, a little grit, some realism in there. Deadpool obviously was like that, where, you know, it wasn't afraid to show the gory details, but the difference was that this one, there was not a lot of over the top, you know, throwing back hands. It tried to be as serious as possible while also being a movie about a guy that has claws growing out of his hands. Like, how do you do that? Well, they did it. They really did, to me. They accomplished it. So that's kind of what I'm feeling like from this movie right now. Like I said, I obviously don't know if this movie is gonna stand the test of time. It might not. Oh man, I'm getting destroyed. I might want to leave this. I think I did a little too hard. Maybe I'll just talk for the rest, because it's already been 20 minutes. Might as well just finish this off. So, to wrap things up, kind of, Logan is a completely new movie. It is fun. It is adventurous. There's a lot of good character moments, callbacks. Obviously, this is a spoiler, but we don't get to see the original yellow suit. It's sad not to see Hugh Jackman in that role, but this movie, it really wouldn't fit that tone. Like, if they like showed it, well, they kind of do in a way, but you know, it really ties together for me his character as a whole. You get to see the natural conclusion of Wolverine. There's some cool moments that I literally was like, well, I did not see that coming. And maybe that's me just being a stupid moviegoer. But there were moments that I was legitimately like, did that just happen? Like, oh my god, that's awesome. And there were people in the theater that were doing the same thing. They just kind of like, we kind of looked around and we're like, that's awesome. That's a cool movie moment. And Logan, I think, to me, is chock full of those. So if you like superhero movies, you are able to watch them. And if you just like Wolverine as a character, definitely watch this. And I would also recommend getting this. This is the Old Man Logan. It's a mini series. I think there's like 5, maybe 6 issues. Beautifully drawn and beautifully written by Mark Miller and Steve McNiven. I hope I'm saying that right. It is awesome. One of the best comic book stories that I've ever read, to be honest. But anyways, Logan, I don't even know what to say about it anymore. It's such a change of pace from the past 2 Wolverine movies. Both of those, a lot of people criticize them for their plot and their CGI. This one was, it seemed to me like there were more practical effects, and the CGI was better, so it didn't take you out. Like when you saw Wolverine's obviously fake CGI claws in X-Men Origins Wolverine, you're like, ooh, whoa, oh god, come on guys. There were no moments like that for me. I think there was one moment in the whole movie that I was kind of like, did he just say that? Like that was a little, there was one moment that it went a little too far for me. I think most people will know what it is, but it was just kind of weird for me. I didn't hate it. It was just, it kind of felt out of place with the rest of the movie. So, but other than that, I'm going to say great movie. It has memorable cast, obviously. And I do believe that you will walk out of that theater feeling satisfied. Obviously, it's sad to see him go, but there is no better way to send off an actor or a character, the actor playing the character, than this movie. If there were ever to like leave Captain America, they better give him a treatment like this, because this is what every character deserves, this movie. And unfortunately, we're not seeing a lot of that. If Gambit got a movie like this, that would be amazing. So that's all I'm going to say on this matter. It's a 20-minute video. Hopefully you guys don't think my Logan rambling is dumb. Just go see it for yourself. Check it out. See what you think. But I'm giving you my personal opinion here as a Marvel fan of everything. This is Wolverine as he was always meant to be seen. That's it for me, guys. If you have enjoyed, rating would be very much appreciated. This is kind of a dumb video, but for all the 5 of you watching, thank you for watching, and I will talk to you all later. See ya.